Very good morning to all. Today we will discuss about the stresses in thick cylinders. What are the different considerations? Then there are three types of formulas by using which we can solve the numericals. That also we will discuss. This Lami's, Clavarino, and Bernoulli equation. Then one numerical based on all these three types. And then we will proceed for the concept of autofrettage. What is autofrettage? What is the concept of compound cylinder? And what is the formula for this clearance or delta and the pressure, shrinkage pressure, what relation between this delta and shrinkage pressure, and we will also solve numericals based on. So let us start. So thick cylinders or thick cylindrical cells subjected to internal pressure. So in the ratio of inner diameter of the cylinder to wall thickness, d by t is less than 15, it is called as thick cylinder. Hydraulic cylinders, very high pressure pipes and gun barrels are the some of the examples of thick cylinders. We have discussed in thin cylinders, there are two types of stresses, circumferential stress or hoop stress, and the second one is the longitudinal stress. There is also the radial stress acting on it, but the magnitude is not significant. Therefore, the effect of this radial stresses, sigma r, is neglected in case of thin cylinder, while the sigma r is having significant value, magnitude in case of thick cylinder. Therefore, it is taken into consideration in thick cylinder design or calculation of the thickness and other formulas. So sigma r is also plays very important role in case of thick cylinders. So now there are three different types of traces in thick cylinders. We can call it name it as circumferential or hoop trace sigma t, then longitudinal trace sigma l, and radial trace sigma r. So these are three different types of traces. There are different equations for the design of thick cylinder. The choice of equation depends upon two parameters. So which equation we should select? There is also some criteria for selection. So the first parameter is the cylinder material. So whether brittle or ductile, which type of material is it? Whether the material is brittle or whether the material is ductile. And second, the condition of cylinder ends, whether it is open or whether it is closed. So if the cylinder material is brittle or ductile, and if the cylinder is open cylinder like pipe, and if the cylinder is closed cylinder, like in last example we have seen any boiler or any pressure vessel having the cylinder and it is closed with two hemispherical ends, so it is closed cylinder. So depending upon the material and the type of cylinder end, the formula which we will apply for calculation, it will be different for these cases. Okay. So in design of thick cylinders, the generally or mostly used equations are, very first is the Lami's equation. So Lami's equation is applicable for brittle type of materials. Then Bernoulli's equation and Clavarino's equation, these equations are used when the cylinder is made up of ductile material. In objective, there may be a question if the material is ductile or if the material is brittle, and which you will use. So for ductile, there are two options. We can use Bernoulli and we can use Clavarino's also. So in this case now, when to use Clavarino's? When the ends are closed. In this case, we can use Clavarino's. And if ends are open, means it is a pipe, ends are open. If it is a pipe, we will use Bernoulli's equation. So for ductile, for brittle, only Lami's is there. For ductile, there are two cases. And based on whether the ends are closed or whether the ends are open, we will use Clavarino's and Bernoulli's equation respectively. So let us see the formulas for these three equations. Let us see the formulas and then we will solve one numerical for each case. So starting with Lami's equation. So Lami's equation, when the material of cylinder is brittle, very important. I will highlight here, when the material of cylinder is brittle. So this is very important. When the material is brittle, such as cast iron or cast steel, Lami's equation is used, Lami's equation is preferred. So brittle material, you can say cast iron, if it is given in the numerical that, or in the material is EFG and 250, 350 grade is. So we will identify that the material is cast iron and we will go for Lami's equation. Or if the material is given somewhat like tin, C4, etc. So it comes under this mild steel category. We will call it as ductile material and we will use some another equation. So depending upon the material given in the numerical, we will choose the equation which is to be used for calculation of thickness accordingly. So when the cylinder material is brittle, then cast iron or cast steel, like, then Lami's equation is used. So in Lami's equation, it is based on the maximum principal stress theory of failure. So we have discussed this theory in MD1, Machine Design 1, some concept, and the maximum principal stress theory, where the maximum principal stresses are equated to the permissible stress of the material. When the maximum principal stresses are equated to permissible stresses of the material. So here, the three principal stresses at inner surface of cylinders are given as. So very first I will say here, the radial stress. It is given by sigma r, then circumferential or tangential stress. And last one is the longitudinal stress. Longitudinal stress, sigma L. So sigma r, sigma t, and sigma L. Now, as the no derivation part is there for this, means derivation we will not discuss here. So we will take the values directly for sigma r, sigma t, and sigma L. For your more understanding purpose, see the diagram here. A cylinder is subjected to internal pressure. So this is the diagram in which this mentions the, I will say more clearly, thick cylinder subjected to internal pressure. Thick cylinder subjected to internal pressure. So here you can see in the diagram. So here you can see PI. So here you can see PI. PI, it is the thick cylinder having internal diameter as DI. Internal diameter DI, external diameter DO, subjected to a internal pressure PI, and external pressure, it is clear cut mention, external pressure is 0. So it is not subjected to any external pressure. Okay, so now if these conditions are applied, then in this case, sigma R value, sigma R value, the radial stresses, as it is subjected to this particular internal pressure. So sigma R value will be maximum. So this diagram will give you the maximum like this. And they are 0 at the outer end. So this is the stress distribution diagram for sigma R. Stress distribution diagram for sigma R. So sigma R is equal to Pi minus Pi. So sigma R, this is equal to nothing but the pressure at the inside, and it goes to outer diameter, then it becomes 0. Okay. So this is the sigma T and sigma R, the diagram is shown. And sigma T, they are having the maximum magnitude at inside diameter, that is DO, and decreasing at outside diameter. So if you can refer from the figure. So this is sigma T. Okay, sigma L as longitudinal, we cannot show in this sigma L. We cannot show in this diagram the longitudinal stresses. So here, if you refer to the diagram, you can see clearly. And now, if it is subjected to, if any thick cylinder is subjected to this pressure Pi, then the sigma R and sigma T. So sigma R value, this sigma R value is given by minus Pi. Sigma T is equal to Pi into bracket dO square plus di square divided by dO square minus di square. And this sigma L is equal to Pi di square divided by dO square minus di square. Where we can say here in this case Pi internal pressure as shown in the diagram, di and dO internal or inside diameter and outside diameter. So these are the things. Okay. So I will give you 2 minutes, because further whatever Lami's equation we will deriving, we will just adjusting the terms and we will get the final form of Lami's equation. That one equation I will show you, and we will directly take the formula for Clavarino's and Bernoulli's equation. Okay. So take 2 minutes. Stresses in thick cylinders, and directly you give Lami's equation and write down these three formulas: radial, circumferential, and longitudinal stresses. And if you compare these three, sigma R, sigma T, and sigma L, if I am having all the values of Pi, dO, di, and if I will substitute all the values, then from the formula itself, it is P sigma T is equal to Pi into dO square plus di square. So numerator is higher, denominator is same for sigma T, sigma L. So in this case, I can say that sigma T is having maximum value, sigma T greater than sigma L greater than sigma R. So sigma R is having very lesser value, somewhat greater value for sigma L, and maximum value will be there here for sigma T. So our design will be based on only sigma T. So we will further take sigma T into consideration, and we will try to calculate, or we will derive the Lami's equation. So write down these three, and then the concluding statement: sigma T greater than sigma L greater than sigma R. I will give you 2-3 minutes for this. Write all three formulas for this Lami's equation. Now, for the basic formula, then we will derive by taking sigma T, and we will rearrange the further terms, and we will get the formula for Lami's equation. Okay, so let us proceed for the derivation of Lamage equation. So once again, I will repeat that here. Sigma T is greater than sigma L is greater than sigma R. Therefore, while proceeding for this Lamage equation, very first I will say here, the sigma T is the criteria for design. So I will say here, sigma T is the criterion for design. Sigma T is the criterion for design. So let us take the formula for sigma T. We are having sigma T is equal to. So I will write down the formula sigma T is equal to Pi. Here I will write down sigma T is equal to Pi into bracket dO square plus di square divided by dO square minus di square. Once a cross check. So dO square plus di square, dO square minus di square. So this is the formula from equation 2. So I will say here. So we can write from equation second, which we have already written. So now let us modify this. So I will take P on another side. So I request you to write down with me only. So we will move simultaneously. Sigma T divided by Pi is equal to dO square plus di square divided by dO square minus di square. Very simple. Then I will go like this, sigma T into bracket dO square minus di square is equal to Pi. I will take on another side. It will be dO square plus di square. Simple steps. So I will go for multiplication. Sigma T dO square minus sigma T di square is equal to Pi dO square plus Pi di square. Okay. So now let us take the dO term on one side and di term on another side. So what I will do, sigma T into dO square as it is. Then Pi into dO square. When I will take another side, it will become minus Pi into dO square is equal to. I will take this sigma T di square on another side. So it will become sigma T di square. It is minus, why I will take it will become plus. And here plus Pi di square as it is. So let us take dO square common and di square common. So dO square is equal to sigma T minus Pi is equal to then di square into bracket sigma T plus Pi. Okay. Now I will again modify this. dO square divided by di square is equal to dO square divided by di square is equal to sigma T plus Pi divided by sigma T minus Pi. Okay. Sigma T plus Pi divided by sigma T minus Pi. After this modification, again I will go for writing the value of this sigma T. So now proceed for next value I will take. So I will write like this. So dO by di bracket square. So I will write down here like this. dO divided by di bracket square is equal to sigma T plus Pi divided by sigma T minus Pi. Okay. So it will be, now I will take dO by di taking square root. So it square, it will get cancelled, and on another side I will write sigma T plus Pi divided by sigma T minus Pi. Okay. I am having the formula for dO. The outside diameter is given by inside diameter plus 2 times thickness. So if you refer any equation, so if you refer here also, the inside diameter plus this one time thickness, two time thickness. So two times thickness it will give outside diameter. So I will substitute the value. So I will substitute in above equation, it will become di plus 2t divided by di is equal to under root of sigma t plus pi divided by sigma t minus pi. Okay, so 1 plus di by di 1 plus 2t by di. I am writing every step, not skipping a single step. Sigma t plus pi divided by sigma t minus pi. What I want, why I am doing this, I want to convert everything in terms of thickness. I want to calculate the thickness. Okay, so I will take minus 1 on that side. 2t divided by di is equal to under root of sigma t plus pi divided by sigma t minus pi, and this on this side it will become minus 1. So this is the next step. And now again I will write in terms of, I will take on another side, so I will write in terms of t di by 2 on another side. So I will write down it like this. So it will become thickness t is equal to di by 2 on another side into bracket under root of sigma t plus pi divided by sigma t minus pi, and minus 1 is as it is bracket complete. Where what is sigma t here? Where sigma t is equal to the ultimate tensile stress SUT divided by Fs. Sigma t is equal to SUT divided by Fs. So this is nothing but okay. So whatever we have derived at last, this is the formula for thickness. So highlight it, and this is nothing but your formula. This I will call it as Lami's equation. So this is nothing but the Lami's equation. This is nothing but the Lami's equation. Okay. So we have arrived at the Lami's equation. Okay, so we have started with this the basic formula, the stresses, how it is mentioned, and then further the Lami's equation we have calculated. Now let us proceed for one numerical. Let us proceed for one numerical. Okay, so immediately we will take a numerical based on this Lami's equation. So a piston rod of a hydraulic cylinder exerts an operating force of 10 kilonewton. So immediately I will write down what is given. So here operating force of 10 kilonewton. So I will say here separate as operating force 10 kilonewton. The friction due to piston packing and stuffing box is equivalent to 10% of operating force. So these are the some different terms. So I will call it as consider the effect of friction. So you have to consider this also as additional. So effect of friction I have to consider it is 10%. So I will adjust in load only. So I will consider the load 10% more or force 10% more. The pressure inside cylinder is 10 megapascal. So what is given next? The pressure Pi is equal to 10 megapascal or 10 Newton per mm square. The cylinder is made up of cast iron FG200. The material is given FG200. So if SUT, we can directly say that SUT is equal to 200 Newton per mm square. The factor of safety is 5. What additional is given? FS is equal to 5. Okay. Determine the diameter and thickness of the cylinder. We have to calculate the diameter and thickness of cylinder. We have to calculate the diameter and thickness of cylinder. So first of all, calculate the total force acting on this. So I will say here total force is equal to 10 plus again friction is given 10% of 10% of operating force. So operating force is given 10 and friction is 10%. So I will say here 10% of the operating force. So if the friction is not given, you can directly assume the force as 10 only. But here the friction is given, we have to consider. So 10 plus 10% of 10, it is nothing but 1. So I will say total force is equal to 11 kilonewton is equal to 11,000 Newton. Okay, we are having pressure is equal to force per unit area. Therefore, force is equal to pressure into area. So you can say this here we are having force of 11,000 and pressure is given 10 MPa Newton per mm square. So I am substituting this also in Newton into area of cylinder is given by pi by 4 into di square. So everything is given. You can easily calculate the diameter. So I will say here diameter comma di is equal to, you will get the answer in millimeter. Calculate the diameter value. Tell me the answer for diameter. Solve fast. .42. Okay, so I will say here 37.42 millimeters. Now SUT is given and the material is also given cast iron. So we will use here Lami's equation. So I can say here using Lami's equation, very first I have to calculate the sigma T. The sigma T is given by SUT divided by EFS. SUT is given 200. EFS is 5. So this will give you sigma T is equal to 40 Newton per mm square. 40 Newton per mm square. Now using Lami's equation, I can say here T is equal to di by 2. The same formula, sigma T plus Pi divided by sigma T minus Pi minus 1. Just now we have derived here the formula. So that Lami's formula we are using. So substitute all the values in this case. So here I will say 37.42 divided by 2 into bracket under root of 40 plus 10. 40 minus 10. So 10 is the pressure given. Minus 1. So you will get here the thickness of cylinder. So I will say here thickness of cylinder, comma, T is equal to, tell me the answer, 10 millimeter. .44. Very good. So I will say here the answer 5.44. So this is the problem based on this Lami's equation. So we have calculated the diameter. And once again, I will repeat as the material is cast iron FG200, SUT is given. So ultimate tensile strength and material is cast iron. Therefore, we have selected the Lami's equation and we have calculated the thickness and diameter using Lami's equation. Okay, let us proceed further. The next part is Clavarino's equation. Next part is Clavarino's equation. So give the heading and write down the formula. Then we will again discuss one numerical based on this. So this equation is also based on the maximum strain theory of failure, but it is applied to closed end. So it is maximum. So it is, I can say, applicable for ductile materials and second one is closed end cylinders. Very important. So this equation is based on the maximum strain theory, strain energy theory. So this is the Clavarino's equation. So this Clavarino's equation is applied for ductile, applicable for ductile materials, and when the ductile material is the cylinders are made up of ductile material and the ends are closed. In such case only we can apply this equation. So we will discuss in numerical how you can identify that the cylinder means whether we will solve the two numericals, one for pipe and one for cylinder. Then you will come to know how to identify the equation and which formula is required to be used in such cases. So Clavarino's equation, the formula is given T is equal to di by 2. Here sigma plus 1 minus 2 mu pi, 1 minus 1 plus mu into pi minus 1, where sigma is SYT divided by C. SYT. So sigma, the yield strength, here it is C here. It is SYT. So write down this formula. This is for Clavarino's equation and it is applicable for ductile materials with closed end cylinders. So thickness is given by di by 2 into bracket under root of sigma plus 1 minus 2 mu into pi divided by 1 minus into bracket 1 plus mu into pi minus 1. And where what is the sigma? In last case, sigma is calculated by the equation sigma SUT, ultimate tensile strength, and in this case it is calculated by SYT, the yield strength, because in last case for LAM is we have used the maximum principal stress theory, and here we are using the strain energy theory as it is for ductile material. So write down the formula, then we will proceed for solving one numerical. Okay, so let us discuss one numerical based on this. So the inner diameter of a cylinder tank for liquefied gas is 300 mm. Now the liquefied gas, it is closed cylinder only. Okay, so let us write down what is given. So in this case, the diameter is given as 300. Di is equal to 300 millimeter. The gas pressure is limited, so Pi is equal to 15 megapascal. The tank is made up of plain carbon steel. Again, ductile material is there, plain carbon steel, and SYT is given 340 Newton per mm square. Additionally, mu is value is also given. So mu value is 0.27 and Fs is given as 5. We have to calculate the cylinder wall thickness. Very simple problem. So here a cylindrical tank is there. So closed end and ductile material. So here you can write as the material for a tank is ductile. And cylinder is closed at both ends. How it is identified? A cylindrical tank, it is containing liquefied gas. 3 and the diameter is given. So it is gas cylinder. Gas pressure is also given. So it is closed one. If there is one, it is mentioned like gun barrel or a pipe. So pipe, we can assume both ends are open. So this is closed end. So here I will write as material is this ductile, and this we will use Clavarino's equation. So very first I will say sigma is equal to SYT divided by Fs. So I will say 340 divided by 5. So I will call it as sigma is equal to 68 Newton per mm square. 68 Newton per mm square. So this is the value of sigma. And now I will say use the Clavarino's equation. So using Clavarino's equation, T is equal to di by 2 into bracket under root of sigma plus 1 minus into bracket, here I will write 1 minus 2 mu pi divided by sigma minus 1 plus mu pi minus 1. So substitute the value. Thickness is equal to 300 divided by 2 into bracket under root of 68 plus 1 minus 2 into 0.27 bracket complete into pi. Pi value is 15 divided by 68 minus 1 plus mu 0.27 into 15 minus 1 bracket complete. Tell me the value of T. $35.54. Very nice. I will say here the thickness as 35.54, 36 millimeter. So this is the second numerical based on this Clavirino's equation, and let us proceed for the Bernoulli's equation. So this is applicable for ductile material and open end. So I will highlight here. So when it is open ended, so we can say here open ended is nothing but this construction like gun barrels or pipes. So if it is mentioned that a pressure is having with the fluid flowing through a pipe, etc. So assume that it is open ended and we will use the formula. So made up of ductile material. So here two consideration are there in this case. So if the cylinders made up of ductile material and is open ends. So open end cylinder. These are the two things. So if cylinder is ductile and closed ends are there, we will use Clavirino's. If cylinders are ductile, made up of ductile material and open end cylinders are there, we will use Bernoulli's equation. So ductile material, low carbon steel, brass, bronze, aluminum alloys, the alloyable steel. These are the ductile materials. So in this case, maximum strain theory is used. The failure occurs when the strain reaches to a limiting value, and this is the equation given. This is nothing but the Bernoulli equation. T is equal to di by 2 under root of sigma plus 1 minus mu into pi divided by sigma minus 1 plus mu into pi minus 1. So we will use this equation, and by using this equation we can easily find out the thickness of the pipes or rams or gun barrels, pump cylinders, where they are made up of ductile material and open end cylinders are there. So give the heading and write down the formula. We will again solve one numerical based on this. Okay, so let us proceed for a numerical based on this. So the numerical is like this. So seamless pipe. Steel pipe with 100 mm internal diameter is subjected to internal pressure of 12 megapascal. It is made up of steel. SYT is given and mu is given. And the factor of safety is 2.5. Determine the thickness of the pipe. So in this case, we will write down what is given. 100 mm and it is pipe, so open end. So let us write down what is given. So I will say very first DI is equal to 100 millimeter. PI, internal pressure, it is subjected to 12 megapascal. MPa. SYT 230 Newton per mm square. Mu value is given 0.27 and factor of safety is given as 2.5. And we have to calculate the thickness. Okay, so very first we will write as it is given as the pipe. The pipe has open ends and again steel. So it is made up of ductile material. It is having open ends and it is made up of ductile material. In bracket I will say steel. Hence Birney's equation can be used. So just wait. I am observing that the screen is not visible. We will be reconnecting within just 1 minute. Just wait for 1 minute. Okay, so let us start. So, Bernoulli equation, we are discussing the numerical, and now we have written what is given, and as the pipe is has both open ends and it is made up of ductile material, so Bernoulli equation can be used. So, very first calculate the sigma value. So, I will say sigma is equal to S YT divided by EFS. So, I can say is equal to value is given 230 divided by EFS is 2.5. So I will say sigma is equal to 92 Newton per mm square. So now I will write using Bernoulli equation. So writing down the formula for Bernoulli equation, I will say T is equal to di divided by 2 into bracket under root of sigma plus 1 minus mu into pi divided by sigma minus 1 plus mu into pi minus 1. This is the formula. Now let us substitute the values. So T is equal to, I will say di 100 divided by 2 into bracket sigma 92 plus 1 minus 0.27 into pi value 12 divided by 92 minus 1 plus 0.27 into 12 minus 1. So we have substituted now the values of internal diameter di, then sigma and pi and mu value. And now you will get the thickness of pipe. So final, you will tell me the answer now for thickness of pipe. 7.28. Okay, 29 my answer. So very good. I will say here the thickness of pipe is equal to thickness of pipe comma T is equal to 7.29 millimeters. So this is the final answer. So now we have discussed about this three different numericals in this case. So first numerical we have solved on based on this very first Lami's equation. Then we have discussed a numerical on Clapeyron's equation, and then we have discussed Bernoulli's equation. It's numerical. So from these three, we have seen here that the depending upon the material, we have used the formula. If the material is brittle, we have used Lami's equation, and if the material is ductile, and if both ends are closed, we have used Clapeyron's equation, and if material is ductile and both ends are open, then we have used the Bernoulli's equation. So these three formulas we have used. Now next point is the concept of autofrettage. So very important concept as far as these cylinders are concerned. So autofrettage is a process of pre-stressing of the cylinder before it used into service. So autofrettage is nothing but very important. The word is it's mentioning pre-stressing. So pre-stressing the cylinder before it using into service. So before the cylindrical vessel is applied to service, it is pre-stressed, and the pre-stressing of this cylinders is nothing but known as the concept of autofrettage. It is used in case of high pressure cylinders and gun barrels. So it is for thick cylinders only, and when there is application of high pressure, it is used. So high pressure and gun barrels, high pressure cylinders and gun barrels, it is used. When the cylinder is subjected to internal pressure, the circumferential stress sigma T at the inner surface limits the pressure capacity of the cylinder. So If internal pressure is applied to any cylinder, then up to what extent we can apply the internal pressure, it is having certain limitation. Beyond it, if we apply, then the sigma t circumferential stresses will go beyond the limit and ultimately it will cause the failure. So these circumferential stresses, there is a limit for this in applying the pressure. So we cannot apply a pressure beyond a certain limit. So for this only, the pre-stressing is done. So for this, the concept here, the pre-stressing is done. So pre-stressing process, the residual compressive stresses are developed at the inner surface. So this is the concept. So why pre-stressing? In the pre-stressing, residual compressive stresses are generated in the surface. And when the cylinder is loaded in service, then first the residual compressive stresses at the inner surface begin to decrease. They will come to zero and finally become tensile. And what this ultimately does, it ultimately enhances the pressure capacity, pressure applying capacity of the cylinder. So these 3 points are giving the how the pressure capacity of a cylinder is increased. So this is the advantage of. Okay, so once again I will explain. Now we will take just example. So if the circumferential stress, if we can apply the circumferential stress and up to 100 Newton per mm square it is applying. So we are increasing the pressure, the sigma T increases, and we are having the limit that we can reach only up to 100 Newton per mm square. We can reach only up to 100 Newton per mm square. So this is the condition. Now, if we can reach by using this step, I will explain you if I will use this step. So when it is subjected to internal pressure, the circumferential stresses are generated and it will limit the capacity. So I can go up to 100 only. After this, if the pre-stressing is done, so what is happening by this pre-stressing? So I will say, assume that here it is going up to capacity 100 Newton per mm square maximum. So if pre-stressing is done, residual compressive stresses are developed at the inner surface. So residual compressive, residual, they will be there, and compressive means, for example, assume that compressive I have shown minus, so minus 25 Newton per mm square. So now when the cylinder is loaded into service, first the residual compressive stresses at the inner surface begin to decrease. This minus 25, it will become minus 24, like this, it will become zero. So minus 24, minus 20, minus 15, minus 10, minus 5 and 0. And it will start in the positive direction and it will go up to 100 Newton per mm square. Finally become the tensile. So this is the advantage. Now if you see in the first case, the pressure allowed is only 100. Pressure allowed is only 100. But in the second case, if I will compare minus 25 to 0. So here 25 Newton per mm square is allowed and additionally it is going up to 100. So I can go for 125 Newton per mm square. The capacity is the same only. The capacity is 100 only. But if we will go for pre-stressing, the residual compressive stresses are developed minus 25 and the residual compressive stresses will come decreasing 0 up to 0 and then it will go to positive and ultimately what happened? From 100 my capacity increased to 125. For that only I have given the example. So this is autofrettage increase the pressure capacity of this cylinder. Very important. The another advantage that the residual compressive stresses close the cracks within the cylinder resulting in increased endurance strain. So another advantage that also we will discuss. So it is closing the cracks. So as we are applying the compressive stresses, assume that and somewhat assume that this is the thickness of assume as 5 mm and inside there are some like this. This is for your understanding I am showing. Compressive stresses are there. So these are the some of the cracks are there. So when the compressive stresses are applied like this, ultimately this crack will minimize and ultimately the crack will get closed because the compressive stresses are applied. And if the cracks are getting closed, ultimately the surface endurance rate limit because the failure starts from the crack propagation phenomena only. So surface endurance strength of this particular cylinder is increased. This is the another advantage of the pre-stressing or autofrettage. Now let us move further. What are the different methods by which we can go for pre-stressing or autofrettage? So there are three different methods by using which we can go for the pre-stressing of autofrettage. So first method, the method number one is, here it is mentioned, so it is compound cylinder, method number one. Then method number two, overloading the cylinder, and method number three, applying a wire. So let us discuss method number one. Compound cylinder. Compound, there are two cylinders. It consists of two concentric cylinders with outer cylinder shrunk onto the inner one. This induces the compressive stresses in the inner diameter of cylinder. Compound cylinders are extensively used in practice. So what method is applied for this pre-stressing? How it is? We have discussed what is pre-stressing, what are the advantages of pre-stressing. Now how it is done? So the first method is compound cylinder. So compound cylinder, there are two concentric cylinder and the outer cylinder is shrunk fit. Shrunk means not easily fitted. It is heated up to certain temperature and then only it will cover on the inner cylinder. And when it will cool down, definitely it will apply the pressure. It is called as nothing but the shrinkage pressure and it will induce the residual compressive stresses. So a compound cylinder is nothing but a cylinder and jacket. As assume that this human being, we are also wearing jacket on our body. So it is additional part. So like this also here, a cylinder is shown and on the cylinder, see here, this is the cylinder. This is the cylinder and the cylinder is covered by a jacket. So whatever the outer part I am now trying to give cover, it is this highlighting by some black hatch line. So this is nothing but the jacket. So it is covered by the jacket. And if the cylinder is freely passing into jacket, ultimately no any residual stresses will develop. So very important concept. Very important concept for successfully achieving this is that the cylinder inside diameter, D1 is the cylinder inside diameter, D2 is the cylinder outside diameter. So D1 and D2 cylinder inside and outside diameters, and D3 outside diameter of jacket. Now what is inside diameter of jacket, that we have to calculate in the numericals. So the D1, D2 and D3. So D1 and D2, the inside and outside diameter. So outside diameter of jacket, for example, assume the outside diameter of jacket as 60 millimeters. Sorry, no, outside diameter of cylinder is 60 millimeters. So I will say here, I will take one example. So take here D1 is equal to 40. Take here D2 is equal to 70, 15 mm thickness. And take this as D3 is equal to 100. So what is the inside diameter of the jacket? So it should be less than 70. By what amount? By an amount delta. If it is equal to 70, then a loose fit may be there. So if we want only shrink fit, so for the shrink fit, the diameter of inside diameter of the jacket should be less than the outside diameter of the cylinder, so that at normal circumstances the jacket will not cover the cylinder in normal temperature, normal circumstances. So, and now in this case, write down this formula, it is required. So, the inner diameter of jacket is slightly smaller than the outer diameter of cylinder. So, that is nothing but, for example, slightly smaller, I will say it is smaller by 0.5. So, how it is then inserted? How the cylinder is inserted into jacket? So, the jacket is heated, it will expand inner diameter and the cylinder is inserted. So, and when it will cool, so when the jacket is heated, it expands sufficiently to move over the cylinder. Now the cylinder is inserted in the jacket, and when the jacket cools, it tends to contract onto the cylinder. When the jacket cools, it tends to contract onto the cylinder, but the cylinder will not allow to contract it, and this induces the residual compressive stresses, and there is a shrinkage pressure develop between these two. There is shrinkage pressure developed between these two. The pressure P, what is the pressure? The pressure P, it always tries to contract the cylinder. It always, see here, it is shown. The cylinder, it is tries to contract, it is tries to compress the cylinder, and it is always trying to expand the jacket. It always trying to expand the jacket. So, write down the sigma t. The sigma t will be useful for calculation of P, or if any other thing is missing, we can calculate by using this. So, sigma t, write down this for compound cylinders. Sigma t is equal to P d3 square plus d2 square divided by d3 square minus d2 square. Now, as the shrinkage pressure P can be evaluated, how you can calculate P? The P can be evaluated by using the formula. Write down this formula also. Delta is equal to P into d2. So it is mentioned here. Delta is equal to P into d2 by E into bracket twice d2 square, d3 square minus d1 square divided by d3 square minus d2 square into bracket d2 square minus d1 square. This is the relation between delta. What is the delta? The delta is nothing but the clearance. I have shown you the inner diameter of jacket is slightly smaller than the outer diameter of cylinder. And by what amount it is smaller? It is nothing but delta. By what amount it is smaller? It is nothing but the value for delta. Okay. The resultant stresses in compound cylinder are found by superimposing two stresses. Stresses due to shrink fit and stresses due to internal pressure. So these are the two formulas. This is formula for sigma t, and write down the second formula. Then we will solve two numericals based on this related to auto freightage. So write down this formula. Delta is nothing but the interference. Delta is nothing but the interference. In other way, what I have given you idea. By what amount your inside diameter of jacket is smaller than outside diameter of shell. At normal circumstances, they are not, means the cylinder cannot be passed through the jacket. It is required to be heated because the ID is smaller than the OD of cylinder. And by what amount it is smaller? It is nothing but the interference. So, if you have written the formula, this is method number 1. We will solve numerical based on this. Method number 2, overloading the cylinder. So here this is another method. Overloading the cylinder. This is your second method. The second method consists of overloading the cylinder before it is put into service. Overloading pressure is adjusted in such a way that the portion in the cylinder near the inner diameter is subjected to stresses in the plastic range, while the outer portion is in steel elastic range. See, we are applying pressure. So applying internal pressure. Okay, so when applying internal pressure, okay, so if applying internal pressure Pi, so apply Pi in such a higher value that the inside portion near the thickness, whatever the inside portion is there, it should be go in plastic range. The stresses should applied so that this should be go in plastic range, means such a higher so that it will not regain its original shape and size. While the outside material, I am trying to show with this dotted line, the outside thickness material, it is still in elastic range. And now release the pressure. If the pressure is released, the outside material which is still in elastic range, it will, because it is in elastic range, it will try to compress. It will try to regain its original shape and size. So it will try to compress as per the, as the pressure is released, and they are having the tendency to contract, elastic nature. But the inside material which we have pressed in such a way that it is going in the plastic range, now the material will not allow to shrink. So the outside material is trying to shrink, but the inside material is not allowed to shrink as it has gone in plastic, and this induces this phenomenon. This induces the residual compressive stresses in the inner surface. This is the method number 2, overloading of cylinders. And now method number 3, very simple method, third method. In this method, a wire under tension is closely wound around the cylinder. So a cylinder is taken and a wire, assume that a steel wire rope is wound close very tightly on the cylinder. By winding the wire on the cylinder, it will also generate the residual compressive stresses in the cylinder. Residual compressive stresses in the cylinder, and our pre-stressing is achieved through winding a wire method also. So these are the three methods we have discussed about autofrettage. What is autofrettage? Pre-stressing. Then what is first method? Compound cylinder. So how the sigma T is calculated. Then we have moved further. Next, when the jacket is heated, it will expand, and when the jacket will cool, it will try to contract on the inner cylinder. Inner cylinder will not allow to contract, and the jacket will try to contract, and this will increase the shrinkage pressure will be there, and it will induce the residual stresses, and the relation between the shrinkage pressure and the interference is given by the formula. And next, overloading of the cylinders, this we have discussed, and wire method. So now let us proceed. We will take small numericals are there, so we will take two numericals based on this. So a high pressure cylinder consists of a steel tube with inner and outer diameters of 200 and 300 mm respectively. So I will write down what is given. Inner and outer diameters of cylinders. So I will say D1 200 mm, D2 300 mm. It is jacketed by a outside steel tube having outer diameter. D3 is also given, outside diameter of jacket 400 mm. The difference between the outer diameter of inner cylinder and inner diameter of jacket before assembly is 0.25. It is nothing but the interference given, difference between the diameter 0.25 millimeter. What we have to calculate? Calculate the shrinkage pressure if E value is given as 207 kilonewton. So into 10 raised to 3 Newton per mm square. What we have to calculate? We have to calculate the shrinkage pressure P and stresses induced sigma T. No problem. So as delta is given, I will start with the interference formula. The delta is given by, just see what is the formula for delta, PD2 divided by E. So we will write down this formula, and we will then substitute the value P into D2 divided by E into bracket twice D2 square into bracket D3 square minus D1 square divided by D3 square minus D2 square, D2 square minus D1 square. So let us take D1, D2, D3 are given, and this P we have to calculate. Delta is given, E is given, no problem at all. So I will substitute delta is equal to 0.25 is equal to P we have to calculate into D2 300 divided by E value 207 into 10 raised to 3 into bracket. Substitute the values 2 into 300 square into bracket 400 square minus D1 200 square divided by D3 400 square minus D2 300 square into bracket D2 300 square minus D1. It is nothing but 200 square. Very simple. So here it will give you the shrinkage pressure. Calculate. Shrinkage pressure you will get by using this formula. Calculate shrinkage pressure. Tell me the value, calculate very fast. The shrinkage pressure P is equal to, you will get the value as 27.95. Very good. So I will write down here 27.95 Newton per mm square. So now I will substitute here sigma T is equal to P into bracket D3 square plus D2 square divided by D3 square minus D2 square. So 27.95 into bracket 400 square plus 300 square divided by 400 square minus 300 square. So maximum you will get the value as. Tell me the value. So shrinkage pressure. We have calculated the shrinkage pressure here, and we have highlighted also the value for shrinkage pressure. Okay. 99.821. Okay. Any other? Any other? Okay, 99.821. So I will take the value same. This for 99.821. Okay, very good. So in this way you can calculate the shrinkage pressure and sigma T. Okay. One more problem we will take on this. One more interesting problem. So on the same basis, only two formulas relation between sigma T and delta. But whatever things are given in last problem that are asked in this problem. So somewhat slightly changes are there. So I will say given a high pressure cylinder consists of A steel tube with inner and outer diameters 30 and 60 mm. So I will say very fast. D1 30 mm, D2 60 mm. It is jacketed by outer steel tube having outer diameter of 90 mm. So D3 90 mm. The tubes are assembled by shrinking process in such a way that maximum principal stress should not exceed or it is limited to. So it is given directly, it is value of sigma T 80 Newton per mm square. And E value is given here 207 into 10 raised to 3 Newton per mm square. So we will proceed one by one. Sigma T is given. We have to calculate very first a shrinkage pressure. And original dimension of tube. So outside diameter is given. So I have to calculate here original dimensions means inner dia of tube or jacket that I have to calculate. For this I have to calculate the delta. Now let us proceed. Sigma T is equal to P into bracket D3 square plus D2 square divided by D3 square minus D2 square. I will write down. Okay, I will take next step. Sigma T given AT is equal to P into bracket 90 square plus 60 square divided by 90 square minus 60 square. So you will get here very first value shrinkage pressure comma P is equal to tell me the value of P. 30.76. Very good. So 30.76 Newton per mm square. Okay, now the delta value is given by, we are having the value P D2 divided by E into bracket twice D2 square D3 square minus D1 square divided by D3 square minus D2 square into bracket D2 square minus D1 square. Try to substitute all the values. So I am calculating the value of delta. Delta is equal to 30.76 into 60 D2 divided by 207 into 10 raised to 3 into bracket. I will write down 2 into 60 square D3 minus D1. So 90 square minus 30 square divided by 90 square minus 60 square D2 minus D1 60 square minus 30 square. You will get the interference here. Delta is equal to in millimeters. So tell me the value for delta. Tell me the value for delta. Calculate. Okay. 0 point. Very good. 0.38 millimeters. Last case delta given and we have calculated P. Now, after writing this delta is equal to 0.038, we have to calculate the dimension of the tube. Very important. So now I will say in this case, Now I will say in this case, outer diameter of tube. It is given as outer diameter of tube 90. Okay. Outside. This is for outside. Then what is given? Outer diameter of inner tube I want. So this is redundant data, not required. So outside diameter of inner tube, it is nothing but given as D2, 60 millimeters. Therefore, I can calculate inner dia of outer tube is equal to, it should be less than the 60 D2 by an amount delta. So I will say 60 minus 0.038. So you will get this as, this is the dimension, inner diameter of outer tube is equal to, what is value? 59.962. Okay, 59.962 millimeters. So therefore this is shrink fit. So 59.962 and 60 mm. So 60 mm cannot be fit inside 59.962. Therefore it is means heated this time. 59.962, when it is heated, it will go beyond 60 mm, and then when it will cool, it will try to achieve at 59.96. But the inner tube, it is having the 60 mm diameter, it will not try to allow, and this will induce as the traces. So this is the additional step, and this is our final answer.